Hello, and welcome to Podcast DX, the show that brings you interviews with people just like you, whose lives were forever changed by a medical diagnosis.
I'm Lita.
And I'm Ron.
And I'm Jean Marie. Collectively, we are the Borg.
I'm sorry, what?
According to Wikipedia, the Borg is a fictional alien group that appears as reoccurring antagonists in the Star Trek franchise. The Borg are a vast collection of drones or cybernetic organisms linked to a hive mind called the Collective.
Okay, Jean. Collectively, we're the hosts of Podcast DX.
Okay, sure. Right. That's what I said.
Anyways, on today's show, we are interviewing Tatum.
That's right. Tatum is an up-and-coming vocal artist and musical theater star from the Chicago suburbs. She is currently studying musical theater at Ball State.
Go Cardinals!
Welcome to the show, Tatum.
Thank you for having me.
Tatum is an amazing singer. She's been in countless local musical productions. Thank you for coming in today, Tatum. You must be exhausted.
I'm always ready for anything.
Did I hear that you just had a reunion show last night at the Elmhurst High School?
Yes, I did. It was called the 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So you didn't even get to take a break when it's your summer off from school?
Oh, no. There's always a show somewhere.
All right, let's get going. I'm sure the listeners at home are wondering by now what today's topic will be. After all, we have a healthy, happy college student. However, we know that not all illnesses are blatantly obvious. You can't really tell if someone's healthy just by looking at them. Is that what we're dealing with today?
In a way, you're right. Tatum has, or I should say had, a condition that could have sidelined her singing career.
Yes, I developed nodules on my vocal folds that made it almost impossible to talk, let alone project my singing voice out across a packed theater.
Now, I've heard of vocal cords before. Are they the same as vocal folds?
Yes. According to John Hopkins, the vocal cords, also called the vocal folds, are two bands of smooth muscle tissue found in the larynx, which is also the voice box. The larynx itself is in the neck at the top of the trachea, which is also commonly known as the windpipe. When your vocal cords vibrate and air passes through the cords from the lungs, that's what produces sound. The sound is then sent out through the throat, nose, and mouth, giving the sound resonance. The sound of your individual voice is determined by the size and shape of your vocal cords, your throat, your nose, and your mouth.
Tatum, how did you know that something was wrong? Did your throat hurt?
Yeah, it did, but it felt different than just like a sore throat from a cold or something like that. I was noticing that my vocal endurance was very low. I would lose my voice after like an hour of talking in like a loud group, like out at a loud restaurant or something like that. Also during rehearsals for shows that I was in, I noticed that I couldn't make it through a full rehearsal without feeling like I needed to go home and like not talk.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did you try any home remedies before you went to the doctor?
Yeah, I did. Just like normal things you would do to try and get your voice back, because at the time I didn't know that I had vocal nodules. Sure. So, I would go home and drink a lot of water and have lozenges and just rest my voice for a while, just like anyone else would do. But it was more than that.
Sure. How does one actually get nodules on their vocal cords? How do they form?
Well, according to the Merck manual, acute trauma or chronic irritation causes changes in the vocal cords that can lead to polyps and nodules and granulomas. All three conditions cause hoarseness and almost a breathy voice. And diagnosis is based on a laryngoscopy.
Oh,
a laryngoscopy. What is a laryngoscopy?
A laryngoscopy, which also could just be called getting scoped.
Oh, scoped.
Okay.
Yeah. It's basically they stick a really tiny camera down your throat, or when I got it, it would go up my nose and then down the throat.
No.
It's really uncomfortable, but it goes in and you can see on a screen your vocal folds. It's pretty cool, actually.
That's fascinating, yeah.
So they do something called a strobe test, which is basically just like really rapid pictures.
Okay.
And you can see it almost looks slow motion, your vocal cords vibrating.
Oh,
because
wow.
it's going so fast.
Interesting.
So that was really helpful for me when I went in and first got my diagnosis. I could see the bumps on
So
my
they let you
vocal
watch
cords.
this?
Yeah.
Oh, that is
Oh
cool.
my
I mean-
gosh, so you were awake.
I mean, you're watching it while this thing is like down your throat.
Wow.
So
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, wow.
So if
Yeah.
you got to see it, how did they treat the nodules then?
judicious surgical removal restores the voice, and removal of the irritating source prevents recurrence. So when I got it, it was basically a laser that cut them off of my vocal folds. In my particular case, the irritation came from previous acid reflux problems.
Okay.
And just improper overuse of my voice, like over practicing and yelling and
So
stuff
they
like
were
that.
using a laser?
Yes.
And were you awake for this?
No, I was not
Okay.
awake for that.
Okay.
And if the laser would have slipped, would that have impacted
Well,
your voice?
Yes.
I always
because it
wonder
would
if
have
they,
messed up, yeah.
if the doctor sneezes or something
Oh
during
my
a procedure.
God.
You
Or
know,
But
hiccups.
any, yes, during
Yeah.
any procedure. I'm sorry.
That's why I think that's why they're
It-
going to robotics.
It could be.
Well,
And just thinking about all this makes my throat hurt.
Yeah, they used to do it with like scissors,
Oh.
like way back in the day, which was just way less accurate. So the laser's just like, it was like a 45-minute surgery. So yeah,
Wow. And could you talk afterwards?
no, not right afterwards.
Okay.
Were you nervous about having the surgery?
I was mostly because like, I mean, it was my voice. Like I'm majoring in musical theater. Like this is my instrument. And my surgeon, he's like one of the most acclaimed vocal surgeons in the world. So
Okay.
I obviously trusted him, but you know, I mean, anyone's nervous going into surgery.
Right.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I heard you were in good company. Maybe like Barbara Streisand may have seen your doctor in addition.
yeah,
to...
yeah,
Okay.
she did.
Wow.
All right.
And what was the recovery from your surgery like? Did anything speed along your recovery?
I don't know if anything necessarily sped it up besides just being on vocal rest, because
Oh,
immediately
okay.
after I was completely silent for a week.
Oh
No
Wow.
talking, no anything. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So that was just, I mean, that was the protocol they gave me.
How do you do that? I know that you are the type that walks around your house singing, singing everywhere.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
It was hard. I watched a lot of movies.
Oh, rough.
Wow, that's incredible.
What my mom really though wants to know is if you had to eat a ton of ice cream, were you forced to do it? Was it prescribed?
It was not prescribed, but it didn't hurt.
Nothing. It never hurts. Would you say?
Hurts the waistline. But
Yes.
okay.
Would you say that now you're back to normal, or have you noticed any deficits, or maybe even improvements in your voice?
I wouldn't say I'm back to normal. I'd say I'm better than like I ever have been.
Okay.
Awesome.
Definitely. Well, I had it done right before going to college, so I've definitely seen improvements. Like working with the voice teacher at school and everything. I think my vocal ability, I can do a lot more than I was even able to before I got this surgery. So that's been
has
great.
it extended your range or?
A little bit, yeah, but mostly just like the clarity of my voice. It was less breathy and raspy, and just
okay.
endurance wise, like I could make it through a show and
Right.
not feel like I had to sit down and not talk to anyone for like a day after.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, I hate to be the one to have to ask this question, but is it possible that additional nodules can come back in the future?
Yes. Actually, if you get surgery to remove vocal nodules, you actually have a higher % chance of developing them again, just because you have scar tissue and everything. But it's not a super high percentage, especially if like I've been going through speech therapy and everything. So if you learn how to properly take care of it, then you should be fine to be healthy in the future.
Is there anything that you and our listeners can do to keep their vocal folds and larynx healthy?
Yes, the larynx and the vocal cords need moisture. So it's so important to drink plenty of water. I mean, I carried around a half-gallon jug in college.
Oh, wow.
I mean, the typical recommendation is to drink 6 to 8 glasses of water a day, but I'd say some days I have more than that. Some days less, you know, some days you forget. But and whenever possible, to avoid alcohol and extremely spicy foods and smoking. In addition, using a humidifier to maintain about 30% humidity in the room is also very helpful.
Okay. And have they treated you for your acid reflux?
No, that was just something I had it more when I was younger.
Okay.
And I think that kind of just set it up.
Sure.
Not good. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, well,
yeah, thank you, Tatum.
Well, thank you for having me.
I am going to be watching for you on Broadway.
I hope so.
Yes. And if our listeners have any questions or comments related to today's show, they can contact us at podcastdx@yahoo.com, through our website, podcastdx.com, on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and Instagram.
And if you have a moment to spare, please give us a 5-star review on the iTunes podcast app.
And just as a sideline, could you just sing a couple of notes?
All right, okay. Let's see. I can sing Give My Regards to Broadway.
That's wonderful. All right.
Thank you.
Have a great day, and until next time, we're out.